Hey you, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Um, Before I get into the video, I wanted to thank each and every one of you for showing so much support and love and acceptance. I wasn't really expecting my channel to reach any user on YouTube, but I saw so many clicks on my first video and so many beautiful comments, and that just warms my heart so much. Thank you so much for all the supportive comments. I even received a few emails, and it was such a surprise because I wasn't really expecting anyone to reach out, and people did reach out. So thank you so much for reaching out, for watching my video, for the lovely comments and all the support that you've been showing me so far. So thank you. Now, getting on to the video. So today's video is related to my last video that I uploaded, which talked about navigating through negative thoughts. In that video, I mentioned about a practice that I usually do that helps me create a distance between myself and my thoughts and feelings and emotions. And today, in this video, I am specifically going to talk about that practice. So if you're coming from my last video, firstly, thank you so much for being here, and I thank you so much for holding on. And secondly, this video is especially for you because in this video, I'm going to talk about talking to myself. So first, I would like to explain what I really mean when I say I talk to myself. So when I say that I talk to myself, I mean that I literally talk to myself, that I am vocally talking to myself out loud. Secondly, I talk to myself as if I would talk to any other person, be it a friend or a family member or a stranger. So I talk to myself as I see myself as a third person standing right in front of me. But that person is not in front of me, that person is me. For example, just like I'm saying good morning to a person, I would say good morning to myself when I wake up. Just like I say, how are you doing today to some other person, I would similarly ask myself, oh, how are you doing today? To myself, vocally, I would be vocal about it. So that's what I mean when I say that I talk to myself. It's not same as thinking the thoughts in your head. It's not the same. It's basically speaking out loud to yourself, just like you would speak to anyone else. So yeah, when I say talk to yourself, I mean greet yourself, say good morning to yourself. Tell yourself what are your plans for today? What do you plan to do? When do you plan to do them? What do you plan to have for lunch? Where do you want to go? Especially about how do you feel? This practice is what helps me create a distance between me and my thoughts slash feelings slash emotions. That's because I start looking myself as not really myself, but as a third person who I'm talking to. So just like I would comfort my friend if they are in certain amount of stress, or just like I would present a solution to my boss or to my colleague, similarly, I treat myself the same. I treat myself in the third person, and I think that is what helps me create a distance between me and my thoughts and feelings and emotions. And that way, I try to find the root cause behind that person's distress, that person being me. Just like I would do for a friend, just like I would do a friend a favor, I similarly do that for myself. Now, there might be certain people who don't have any friends, who don't talk to their families, who are not very, who don't have a lot of interactions in their life. And they might question this practice that how do I talk to myself like a friend when I don't know how to talk to a friend because I don't have any friend. In that case, this practice is still helpful because if you don't have any friends, you make one friend this way, and one very good friend this way, one very close friend this way, and that is you. you befriend yourself in this practice. This particular aspect of this practice is very empowering in a way, because in this practice you befriend yourself, and it's not that kind of friendship that's fake, because it's you know what you're going through, you know why you think the way you think, you know how you're feeling. And since there is a certain level of closeness that you cannot expect with anyone else, um, you cannot lie to yourself. When you're talking to yourself, you cannot really lie to yourself. When you talk to other people, when you talk to the world, you can definitely tell a lot of lies. But with yourself, even if you lie out loud, you know that that's a lie. So there is no way that you can lie to yourself. And the friendship that you build with yourself, it's honest, it's real. So I would say that if you don't have any friends, talking to yourself is a very good way to build friendships with other people, because you learn how to build a very honest relationship with yourself first. And once you have that solid foundation of building friendships, building connections, because you built that with yourself, building that with other genuine people becomes like cakewalk. So I would say incorporate this practice, um, and you would see benefits with yourself in your mental health, and also uh, with the relationships around you. Now, speaking of incorporating this practice, let me tell you one thing. This practice is not easy. It's one of the weirdest things that I had to do in life. And I'm sure that's because, nobody in our childhood tells us to take time for ourselves, to be vocal with ourselves, to talk to ourselves. None of our parents, I don't believe that any of your parents or your teachers or your guardians must have told you that, hey, take some time out, go to a room and talk to yourself. I can't believe if anyone ever said that to you in your childhood. If there was a person around you who said that, they must have been on they must have been operating on some other level, because this is literally next level shit. Nobody really tells you to do that in your childhood. And also, if you see someone talking to themselves, just mumbling out stuff to themselves, the first impression that is created in your mind is that of madness. And that's why we refrain from doing that. So, yeah, incorporating this practice in your daily life is not really easy. It's really difficult because it feels really weird, it feels wrong, it feels insane, it feels really mad. And I don't really do this in public still. I still do this when I'm all alone. And even if I'm all alone, I face a lot of challenge just saying a simple hi to myself sometimes, because it feels so wrong and so weird. So, yeah, incorporating this is not easy, but just like any other skill, just like any other practice, the more you practice it, the more you do this in your daily life, the easier it gets. It's like any other skill. So, I would say if you feel any blocks while you talk to yourself, it's completely natural. We are not programmed to talk to ourselves since the beginning. So it's very natural to feel certain blocks, to feel that weird energy, to feel, a certain level of insanity while doing that. It's completely normal. But once you start doing that in your day to day, it becomes easier. It definitely becomes easier. So I have been talking to myself for almost 4 months now, and I already see some benefits to it, which I would like to share with you. The first benefit that I see is definitely what I already mentioned. That is, whenever I feel overwhelmed, this practice helps me create that distance between all those overwhelming emotions and myself. And that really helps me analyze what actually is going on from a calm mind. Benefit number two is that my voice of reason has become stronger somehow. And that is very closely related to, you know, the distance that is created when we talk to ourselves. Um, and when that distance is created, what I see is that I can see the bigger picture. I'm not micro focusing on a certain emotion anymore. Now, after I have created a distance, I can see things, I can see what's happening from an eagle's eye perspective, and that helps me clear a lot of things. When I know the bigger picture, when I know what's going on, it makes things clearer, it brings clarity. And when clarity enters your mind, all this overwhelm and confusion and doubt, it automatically goes away. And that helps you feel calmer, that helps you feel more confident, that helps you feel more grounded, for that matter. So when you start knowing the reasons as to why you're feeling a certain way, when you know a reason, you can start working towards feeling better or feeling a different way that you want to feel. So the benefit number 3 is that somehow I feel more seen and more heard. And that is because when I talk to myself, I'm talking to me. And the me who I'm talking to, that me knows what's going on inside my head, what's really going on. I know about the thoughts that are in my head. I know about the emotion that I am feeling. Even though I tell it to the world, even though I tell it to all my friends and therapists and family and everything, they are not feeling what I'm feeling. It's me who is feeling what I'm feeling. So, and I'm not, questioning the credibility of a therapist here. They sure are professionals. They sure know what goes on. But what really goes on in me, only I can know, because I am living it. And since I am living it, and when I talk to myself and explain myself the reasons, I somehow feel understood. I somehow feel, seen and heard in a way that I can never be made to feel seen or heard by anyone else. The fourth benefit that I am observing is, and I wasn't really expecting this to happen, but what I'm observing is that my intuition is somehow getting stronger. I don't know the reason why it's happening, but I am glad that it's happening. I always wanted it to happen, and I didn't know how to make it happen, but now I see that happening, that my intuition is getting stronger by the day. And when I say intuition, it's that little voice inside us that guides us, that tells us the right from the wrong, that helps us make the big decisions of life. That voice, yes, that is the voice of intuition. It's very different from our voice of fear. I will probably do a video on the differences between our intuition and our fears, maybe in some other video. But yeah, right now I'm seeing that the more I talk to myself, the more my intuition gets stronger. So yeah, I guess that is it for this video. That is all that I had to share about this practice that I have been doing for the last 4 months. If you watched so far, thank you so much for being with me till here. And if any one of you has been, talking to themselves since a long time, I would really love to know your experience on this. You can reach out to me in the comments or in the email. I would love to know your experience on this one. So yeah, that's all I had to share. Thank you so much for watching till here, and I hope to see you soon. And till then, take care.